All right, good day, the viewers at home. You are welcome to our program, your program, the platform from the stable of Afric Edge TV here in the state of the Virtue, the state of Osun in Nigeria here. On today's program, what we do on the program, the platform, we had a topic to be talked about with an important person and personality in the country. Like today, we are presently with our mommy, the principal of Obokun High School, Ilesha, Osun State, in person of Mrs. Olowoyo Adeshola, Mrs. Olowoyo Adeshola. That is our guest for today. Our mommy will be our guest on your favorite program, the platform. And on today's program, what we are here to discuss is about the implication of imposition of course of study on a child or student. The imposition of course of study on a child or a student. What are the implications and why some parents or teachers impose course of study on a student or on their child? Here are the likely questions that we will be treating on today's topic. Mommy, let's start by hearing from you. We want you to greet our viewers at home. The idea, watching you live from the stable of Afric Edge TV on all our social media platforms, the Facebook, the Twitter, and the YouTube. They are there presently watching you live. Mommy, we want to know you.
Good afternoon, viewers at home. I am Mrs. Shola Olowoyo, the principal of Obokun High School, Ilesha, Osun State.
All right, that is the voice of our mommy, the principal of Obokun High School, Mrs. Olowoyo. Concerning the topic that we are about to treat for today, which is the implication of imposing course of study on a child or a student. Now, let's start by looking at this topic. You know, most of the parents, they love imposing the course of study on their child. For instance, you will see a parent who will ask their children that, oh, we don't want you to study this, we want you to be a lawyer, we want you to be a medical doctor, we want you to be this and that. Ma, what is your take on this word of imposing course of study on a particular student or a child?
You are welcome. Some parents, they do impose course of studies on their children. Maybe because they are into that course of study. For example, a lawyer, we want to be his or her children to become lawyers. A medical doctor, we want his or her children to become doctors or nurses. But it is not all that good. And it has a lot of implication. You cannot impose a course of study on your children because everybody has his or her own talent, and there is freedom of choice. We should allow our children to choose whatever course of study they want to follow in life. We don't need to impose anything on them, because we discovered that some parents that impose the course of study on their children, at times the children, they don't do well in the school. They don't do well in this school. I read of a story of a young guy who was admitted at a University of Ilorin to study medicine. The parents said they want their son to become a medical doctor. After spending 10 years without making anything, the young guy dropped out and he was given admission again to study mass communication at University of Lagos. And he graduated as the best student. I read it in the paper, that he wanted to study mass communication, but his parents forced him to that course, and you can see what happened. The parents, they wasted his time, 10 years at the University of Ilorin. They wasted their money, their resources that should have been spent on another thing.
All right, ma. Let's now look at it on the part of the teachers because that angle is for the parent, but let's look at it on the part of the teacher. For instance, now in a school settings like this, when a particular student is done with the GSS exam, the school will go on the placement of the students to the classes, either art or commercial or science. Now, most of the schools, in the course of the placement, they do impose. What is your take on this?
Well, I cannot say about a private school, but in the public school, we don't impose courses on the students, because by the time they finish their GSS 3 exam, we call it Becker exam, by the time the result is out, we have guidance counselors that we talk to these students about choice of their careers. We will talk to them in the public school. In my own school, we have different people that we talk to these students. If you want to study law, you will be in art class. You want to study medicine, you want to study pharmacy, you will be in science class. You want to study engineering, you will be in this type of class. You want to be an accountant, you will be in commercial class. So I don't think there is any public school teacher that we now impose, because we guide, we counsel, we give them career talk. We give them career talk on this subject.
Okay, ma. Still on the placement, what are the criteria being used by the school for placement of the students?
Yes, we use some criteria in placing the student. Number one, we will check the results. We will check the GSS 3 result, and that is not enough. It depends on the interest. You can see a student may pass all the science subjects, may pass agric science, basic technology, and will not have any flair for sciences. He may want to go for a commercial class or art class. So we will not divulge the interest of the students concerning the placement into SS classes.
Okay, ma. Let's look at this on the part of the student. Assuming a student, maybe in the Becker exam that you mentioned, he or she is able to perform better in the commercial subject, and our interest or his interest is on the science class. How can you help or assist such a student? Is there anything to assist?
To assist him or her on what? On the choice of class?
Yes.
Well, we have said it earlier on that we counsel, we guide. But there are some students, even at times, peer group influence. Oh, my friend wants to study medicine. Oh, my friend wants to study law. They will not know all those things that are attached to those courses. So they will follow. We have a case like that. We have some cases like that here in the school. After the first year exam, going to SS2, some students, they had to change because they have realized their talent. They have realized what they can do. At the end of the first year, they say, mommy, I want to change to art. I want to change to art class. Mommy, I want to change to commercial class from science class. So everything borders on guidance, counseling of students. And we will not allow peer group influence to have dominion over these students.
All right, ma. For a student who have been influenced by a friend and later now realize that, okay, I'm not supposed to be in that class, is there still any assistance for such a student to be in the area of interest?
There is. If the person shows up from the onset or at the initial stage, the example I gave earlier on, after the first year exam, some students realized that they cannot make it in science class. So through the Ministry of Education, because we cannot do it alone in the school here, because their data is in the Ministry of Education. So we have to inform them at the Ministry of Education that so students, they are in science class and they want to move to commercial class or to art class. So we didn't do it all alone in the school. We informed the Ministry of Education that such and such students want to move to another class, so that their data will be moved to that class.
Okay, ma. Before the placement, is the school management do deem it fit to organize an orientation program for the students?
That's what I said it earlier on. We do. We normally do it. After the GSS 3 exam, which we call Becker exam, we gather them together and we orientate them. At times, we bring people that know better, so that they can come and talk to these students as career talk.
As career talk. All right, ma. Let's now look at this. What do you think that would be the implication of imposing course of study on a child or on a student?
The implication is numerous implication. Financially, the parents will just be wasting their money, their resources, because when a child does not do well, you will see that the child will be changing courses, changing departments in the university, and is at a cost. Then it can even bring trauma to that child. It can bring trauma to that class, to that student. Trauma to the student, psychological effect on the child. A child whose friends are now in 400 level, but is still in 100 level.
Battling with the
course of study which the parents imposed on him or her. A child who's supposed to spend 5 years or 6 years in the university, now spending 10 years because of a wrong course of study. Such a student will be down psychologically. He or she will be down psychologically. He won't like himself. He will not like. We heard of cases of students that committed suicide because they failed in the exam, and maybe these are big boys on the campus, and they don't have flair for such courses. So a lot of implication on the child, on the parents, even on the siblings too. On the siblings, my brother has gained admission to universities to study engineering, and now engineering course has now turned to education. A parent came to my office here about 2 weeks ago. They said, CEO, that's our daughter, the only daughter we have. She said she wants to study education in the university. I said, yes, is education not fine? I studied education. Those lecturers in the university, they are teaching, they are teachers, they are lecturers. It's only glorified name. Being a lecturer is a glorified name. They are also teachers. So I had to cancel those. You can imagine such a thing. They said, no, how can their only daughter go to the university to study education? They came to my office here.
Why other children are
studying
marine engineering, mechanical engineering?
Yes, engineering. So that's the problem we are facing. The girl has told them, this is what I want to study. I want to go for education. I want to become a teacher. And thank God for we teachers.
Thank God for the
teachers now.
The builder of the nation. Yes. All right, ma. Let's look at this in this angle, ma. You talk about the psychological implication on the child. Okay. Now, assuming we now have a child that he or she is experiencing such, what do you think such a student can do, or the parents?
They have to begin again. They have to counsel. Prayerfully, they counsel the child, because no brain is empty. No brain is empty. They need to counsel the child. They need to guide him or her. Okay, what do you want to do? Which course do you want to pursue now? Do we change your course? by counseling. Maybe the child can now go for UTME again. That is begin again. So I think that is what the parents and the child can do.
Okay, you as a mother and as a teacher, as professional, a child who refuses to hearken to the voice of his or her parents, maybe while imposing a particular course on him or her, is that not disobedience on the part of that child?
It is not. I don't see it as disobedience, depending on how the child tailors his complaint. At least the parents will have friends. If he tells the parents at home that mommy, dad, I don't like this course, I want to become a teacher in the future, I want to study education, I want to study law. I have a friend, she's a nurse, she's a nurse, and she said, that's my first daughter, I wanted her to become a nurse. Even when she was in the secondary school, she participated in a play, and she participated, the role she played the role of a nurse. Mommy, if you see the way I had to sew a uniform, nursing uniform for her. If you see the way the uniform fits her, if you see the way this thing fits her, and all of a sudden, she now said, I want to study law. The lady is a lawyer now. So we need to allow them to talk. There is freedom of speech. We should allow these children to talk. They should have their own choice. We should allow them to choose.
Allowing our children our students
to have their choice.
To have their own choice. We want to digress a little from the topic, ma. Let's look at this imposition we are talking about. In most of the parents, when they observe their child at home, that the child is not that medically fit even to be in a school for a particular day, they will still impose on that child, insisting that he or she must be at the school, instead of them to consider the health of that particular child. What is your take on this action of the parents?
The problem is not with the parents alone. The problem is not with the parents. 90% of that issue is with the students, because these students, they love coming to school. We also have the same case a lot of cases in this school. A student coming to the school early in the morning by 8 o'clock vomiting. Didn't you tell your parents at home that you are sick? Your parents did not know that you are sick. You should stay at home. So they will not be troubling us in the school. I will not be looking for teachers who will take such a child home. You understand? I cannot leave such a sick boy or sick girl to go home on his or her own. I will look for an elderly person to take her back home. So most of the time, the student, they will say, we have CA in the school, we have CA, we have an exam, we have this. But I used to tell my parents during PTA meeting that anytime your child is sick, make sure you treat him or her, take him or her to the hospital. You all have the phone number of the class teacher. They should just phone us that, okay, my child is sick, he will not be in school today, so we will note it down. But mostly the students, they will not want to miss the school. It's not with the parents alone. And some parents, they don't know. Some parents will still insist. The father will go to his place of work, the mother will go to his place of work. There is nobody to stay with that child. But I think the mother can take the child to her own place of work for safety.
Okay, in that case, you mentioned that the student may not likely to tell their parent that this and this just because of they want to be in the school. With the look of things, you as a school principal, do you think that these students they wanted to be in school because of the education or because of the school activities that they wanted to be involved in?
Everything. They want to be in school. because some of our students, some of these children, they don't come from a good home. They don't come from a peaceful home. They prefer staying among their friends. They prefer coming to school. They will not want to miss the company of their colleagues in the school. Some of them because of the academic activities, and some of them because they just want to be among their peers. So they will want to come to the school to join their friends, to join their colleagues in the school.
Okay, let's look at this on the issue of health of students. For instance, let's use the recent incident at the Christland College in at the Lagos there. Is there any way that the school management do check the health status of the students while in school, so that such events will not occur, especially in terms of the participating in the school activities?
The mother of that student, I read it in the paper, said that there was nothing wrong with my daughter. There was nothing wrong, that she was ill and healthy, that she was even happy that she was to participate in the march past that day. And she was even at that stadium before the commencement of the program, awaiting the arrival of her daughter. But maybe this girl had been having problem, and the mother did not take notice of it. She might have been having problem. She might have been managing her head. But in the school, as a teacher, when you are teaching students, let's say you have 20 students in your class, you should be able to know them. You know the student. When a student is happy, you know. When a student is looking dull, you know. Then you will call such a student. Hello, come. What is happening to you? Are you sick? Have you eaten this morning? Is there any problem? And we used to have a program in the school that we encourage our students, if they are having any challenge, maybe physical challenge or health challenge, they should tell us. They should be bold. We have mentors in the school. We have female teachers that are mentoring female students, because a lot of problems these female students, they are facing at home. Even mostly those students that have stepfathers, step uncles, that have maids, house boys, that they cannot discuss with their mothers, but they discuss with the teachers. We have students having health challenge. We have SS in the school. Like yesterday, I was to address some students. I have one SS in that class. I say, you come and sit down. Even at the assembly ground, I will ask the boy to sit down. I will not allow him to stress himself so that he will not collapse. So as a teacher, you should be able to know when your student is sick. And you should be able to encourage all the students. We can phone. We used to phone some parents. Hello, come and pick your child. Your child is sick. Please come and pick him or her in the school. And they will come.
That's the duty of a good teacher. Okay, thank you, Ma. Before we round it up on the program for today, we want to know is there any project activities for this term in this school?
Thank you very much. We thank God. Last time we had our inter-house sports, and it was very glorious. This time too, there is a program it's a state program. All the public schools in the state, we are having 2-day program next week, Wednesday 22nd and Thursday 23rd by God's grace. So the first day is a program with the Royal Fathers. We have invited the Royal Father in our community here, who will come and address the students, talk to them, how they are selecting their chiefs, the roles of a chief in the community, the roles of a king in the community, the selection processes, and even the role of the student, the role of a citizen in the forthcoming election. So we have been preparing for that. A king in our community has been invited. And we have also invited some people, resource personnel, that we talk to our students. So on the second day, the old students have informed the national body of the old students. I've told them that those of them that are in Ilesha here or suburb, they can come. So we are going to give them topics. This career talk is the major topic for the second day. The old students, they will need to come around, talk to our students, how to behave, how to play the good man, how to play the good man, how to face one study very well. So all this will come up next week Wednesday and Thursday by the special grace of God.
Thank you, ma. With the scheduled program, have you been enjoying grants from the Old Student Association in supporting your activities? Have you been?
Well, I will not say grant, but the old students have always been on grant. We have our grandpa, our one and only grandpa, Professor LKJJ. Baba JJ has been doing well, because there was a time last year March when there was one windstorm. The windstorm blew off a whole building last year March. So Baba JJ just came in last year November, and when I showed him the place, it was sad. Baba was one of the first set of students that passed out from this school in 1959. Professor JJ was student between 1954 and 1959. So solely he removed that place for us, and he has been available for us in the school. Like on Sunday evening, that Baba called me that, "Madam, I want you to help me get the list of students that passed out in this school 1959, the list of students that sat for WAEC 1959, 1960, that he wants to see those that are still alive. He wants to call them because they are preparing for 70th anniversary come January.
Reunion.
Yes, I have reunion. That he wants to see those of them that are still alive." So immediately I got to the school. I just took my logbook, the school logbook, checked the list. We have 17 boys, because this school was a boys' school then. 17 boys that sat for WAEC in 1959. But for the list of 1960, the principal just wrote 24 students sat for WAEC. But there's another page. I saw the list of all the class 5 students in 1963. Yes, I said this is what I want. And the list of class 4 students, 1963. I wrote everything. Baba came here yesterday morning. He was happy that I was able to present. He said, yes, I know this. This one died. This one has died. This one is alive. This one is living at Bolonduro. I will get in touch with him just in paper. They have been very wonderful. Our national president is Barrister Bode Ashalu. And like last year, December, we have the 1998 set. The 1998 set under the leadership of Pastor Mega. They came, they appreciated all the 25 teachers that taught them while they were here between 1993 and 1998. They appreciated them. They gave them envelopes. They gave them food. And those of us that are still on ground, they appreciated us. We really love them. And the 1995 set, they are also doing wonderfully well. The 1995 set under Mr. I've forgotten the name now. So he's the president. They are doing well. If you ask for any help from them, there was even a time they brought uniforms. They brought uniforms for the students. The 1995 set, they gave 100 uniforms to indigent students. Then the year 2000 set, they also brought uniforms for indigent students. And some, they used to bring books, big notes for the students. They used to bring big notes. At times, if you ask them that the student furniture, they are no longer in good condition, they used to come around to assist us to repair this student furniture. We have not been asking our students to bring furniture from home. We have been repairing the ones we have. Okay, then we have our own daddy too. Daddy he said Deacon. He's a Deacon Adeboye Ashaolu. He has been doing well too. He even promised to give the staff, because when I promised to give the staff our Christmas gift, we are still expecting. I know he will do it. He will come to us big, in a very big way. So he called me yesterday night. He spent almost 1 hour. Yes, he called me, spent almost 1 hour, and he promised to do a lot of things for us in the school. So the whole students, they have been a very good source. Even those that passed out in year 2009, they promised to come and renovate our school hall.
They promised to renovate the school hall, yes, in which we believe that they will surely do.
By God's grace.
All right, ma. As a word of advice, what is your advice for the parents on the imposition of the course of study on their child, and your advice for the teachers?
My advice for the parents is that they should try to watch their children. They should try to know which area will be the best area for them academically, and they should not stay away from school. They should be coming to the school. That is why we have PTA meeting. At times, some parents may not even have the time to see their child at home, because a child who repairs a spoiled radio, who repairs a spoiled television, you will know that this child will be good in electrical engine. But a parent that are not at home, to know how the boy or the girl is faring during the day. The parent that goes out by 5 a.m. comes back 10 p.m. when the child is asleep. But the parents should come to the school. They should come and see the class teacher. They will see the subject teacher. They should liaise with us. There should be a sort of liaison between the school and the home. Then we teachers too, we will still intensify our effort in this career talk.
All right, thank you, ma, for being our guest on today's program, on your favorite program, our program, The Platform. For some minutes ago, we've been having an interview, a talk with our mommy, the principal of Obokun High School, Ilesha, here, in person of Mrs. Olowoyo Adeshola, the school principal of Obokun High School. Mommy, thank you for being our guest.
You are welcome.
We believe when next time we ask you to grant you an interview, we believe you will surely,
by the special grace of God.
All right, on behalf of the crew that make this interview work, Oladele Apara and Obashola Olarewaju, and on behalf of the producer, the executive producer, Honorable Michael Adeboye Ashaolo. He is one of the Old Students Association of this Citadel of Learning. We want to thank every one of you that are there watching us live from all our social media, the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We want you to like, share this program for the progress of Nigerian students, especially the students at the secondary school, so that people will know that it is not good to impose course of study on a particular student. We should abide, as our mommy said, that all parents and teachers should give room for the students to choose their course of study on their own, for them to be able to perform better. On this note, we would like to draw the curtain for the program. We say thank you for being there for us. See you next time. Thank you, mommy.
Thank you,
Yes, ma'am.